EPCOT's International Food and Wine Festival officially started back in July, but Disney's not done yet. More booths are expected to open October 1st, but in typical 2021 fashion, things happened a little differently than expected. That's why we're bringing you our Best of the Fest Part 2 in mid-August, because we've got more Disney food to review and more tips to give to help you have the best time possible at EPCOT's Food and Wine Festival. Hey everybody, it's AJ for Disney Food Blog. Now, Disney surprised us last week by opening a bunch of new festival food booths that weren't supposed to be around until October. And I'm never going to complain about new Disney food, mostly because it would have been my job on October 1st to eat at all 9 new booths, and now I only have to eat at a couple of them by myself, so that's great. Now, all of you folks that are headed to EPCOT in the next month and a half lucked out, because some of the food at these booths that open extra early have found their way onto our Best of the Fest list. No FOMO for you guys. There are 2 booths, Brazil and Belgium, that still haven't opened. Those will be mine on October 1st. But stay tuned to DFB Guide, because Disney could pull another fast one on us and open those before their expected October 1st premiere. This year's festival runs July 15th, 2021 through November 20th, 2021, so you still have plenty of time to try food from the 30 booths that are currently open. If you missed our Best of the Fest Round 1, be sure to go back and watch that video for some of our other favorite eats from this year's festival, plus lots of tips and tricks to have a great time in Epcot during Food and Wine. But today, we're talking about all that new stuff. The Alps, India, Ireland, Kenya, Lobster Landing, Mac and Eats, and Spain all opened this past week and tossed their hats, or plates, into the ring, and these dishes are the best of the rest of the fest. All right, we're starting with truffle macaroni and cheese at Mac and Eats. Now, we had a feeling this new dish was going to be a winner as soon as we saw it. The Mac and Eats booth had some all-around delicious options, but we were especially wowed by the truffle mac and cheese with herbed panko for $5.75. The mac and cheese was super creamy, the truffles gave the dish a more complex flavor, and the herbed panko gave it a much-needed crunch. The way the flavors came together made for a complex and delicious bite. We will definitely be back to have this dish again before the festival ends. Next, we're headed to the baked lobster dip at Lobster Landing. This is baked lobster dip with Old Bay chips for $5.50. It's worth mentioning that our reporter covering these new booths is not a huge seafood fan, and this still made the absolute top of her list. Chips and dip might seem a little lackluster compared to other festival eats, but don't be fooled. This is one substantial dish with a lot of flavor. I'm actually super impressed by the portion sizes at Lobster Landing. Everything was huge. Now, the chips had Old Bay seasoning to take them to the next level, and the dip was basically a lobster queso. This isn't just a dip that tastes kind of like lobster, it's filled to the max with chunks of lobster meat. Now, this is absolutely a shareable one. The fact that it's only $5.50 is kind of amazing. Now, there are plenty of returning favorites that have once again made our Best of the Fest list. These dishes have stood the test of time and still land as some of the best snacks you can get in the park during Food and Wine. This next one's my favorite, warm raclette Swiss cheese with alpine ham at the Alps booth. It's gooey, melty cheese that comes with baby potatoes, cornichons, and baguette for $5.50 to make it something that definitely falls into the totally acceptable for lunch category. Everything's cooked well here. It's totally legit. They scrape that raclette Swiss cheese off just the way they're supposed to. And the flavors go so well with the ham, even the pickles. You've got that kind of like sweet, sour, salty, all kinds of stuff together. Really good. If you love cheese, this one is a no-brainer. And the Alps also brought us the returning frozen rosé for $9. The France booth did have some tasty drinks for this year's festival, but the frozen rosé, or frosé, over at the Alps can stand right alongside those popular boozy slushies. This is a great refreshment on a summer day or fall day or pretty much any day. It's a delicate balance of sweetness and dryness. It helps to wash down that melted raclette cheese perfectly. All right, we're bringing back the warm chocolate pudding cake at Ireland. Yep, warm chocolate pudding cake. What could go wrong? There's Irish cream liqueur custard with it as well for $4.25. It might not be quite as good as the carrot cake over at Hops and Barley, but it's still great. It's been around the festival forever, and it's definitely landing a spot as one of our best of the fest. It's a must-try if you're looking for something sweet at this year's festival. The cake is super rich and chocolatey, reminded us of a great bread pudding, and the Irish cream liqueur custard was a great addition and gave this dessert a nice cinnamony vibe. I know it's not really cinnamon, but it's like that sort of fall cozy vibe, right? With a hint of booze. All right, the Kenyan coffee barbecue beef tenderloin with sweet potato and corn mealy pap has returned. It also has kachumbari slaw for $6. It's a hearty dish. It's got a bunch of components that are really good on their own, but it really shines when you get a bite. It has a little beef, a little mealy pap, and all the slaw together. The tenderloin was very flavorful. This is one of our favorites from last year too. We love the coffee rub, but the stars were the sides. We could probably eat a whole plate of that sweet potato and corn mealy pap. Now, the best newly opened booth of the fest, we're going to give that award to Mac and Eats. Without a doubt, the Mac and Eats booth earns one of the best of the fest overall booth spots this year alongside the Swanky Saucy Swine, Mexico, the Donut Box, and Rotunda Bistro. We love a booth that's themed around mac and cheese, and this booth is doing it very, very well. Whether you get the traditional, the cowboy, the truffle, or even plant-based mac and cheese, you're in for some of the best food at the festival. Again, our favorite is that truffle mac, but the others are wow-worthy as well. Any mac and cheese fan is going to have a field day at this booth. We definitely think it's earned a spot as one of the best booths of the fest this year. Don't forget to bring your tray. Now, if you're headed to this year's festival and want to make sure you've mastered everything you need to know about the EPCOT Food and Wine Festival, we have a guidebook for that. Our Food and Wine Festival guide has full menus and prices for every single booth with color photos so you know what you're getting before you buy. The guide also has tons of tips, unique food crawls, and info on all the extras you don't want to miss. You can pick up a copy of that guide or any of our other snack guides and bundles at dfbstore.com. Use code YouTube for your discount. A few things to remember for this year's festival. Voice of Liberty and Mariachi Cobre are performing on the America Garden stage, and the Jammin' Chefs are performing at the Canada Mill stage. Local Florida bands will also be performing on the America Garden stage from Friday through Monday every week. You can see the full schedule over at DisneyFoodblog.com. If you've got kids or you're looking for some more entertainment during your Epcot day, Remy's Ratatouille Hide and Squeak Scavenger Hunt is back. The hunt costs $7.99, but once you find the Remy's hidden throughout the World Showcase pavilions, you get to claim your prize. This year, the prizes are plastic bowls featuring Belle, Mickey and Minnie, Remy, or Figment. Now keep an eye out for character cavalcades while you're snacking around Epcot and pop-up character meet and greets. Lots of princesses are out right now, you guys. As always, if you're looking for lower crowds, we suggest visiting on weekdays rather than weekends, since many locals will come over for the festival on the weekends, so that means pinch points in the park can get packed out really fast. So avoid weekends and holiday weekends for lower crowds and more manageable lines. Bring that tray to help carry all your food. I'm not even joking. You just get like a little tray from like a big box store or order it online. Little tiny tray that fits in your backpack. That way you can get multiple dishes at once instead of having to hunt for a table for every single snack. And festival merchandise is available all over the park. You're going to find t-shirts, kitchen goods, Dooney and Burke bags, magnets, so much more, all exclusively made for this year's festival, which, by the way, is sponsored by Corksicles. There's a bunch of Corksicles there, too. If you're looking for even more planning resources for this year's Food and Wine Festival, grab a copy of our festival guide over at dfbstore.com. Don't forget to use code YouTube for a discount, and be sure to follow along with us over at DisneyFoodblog.com on our social media channels, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and Twitter. And if you want to make sure you don't miss another surprise early festival booth opening, subscribe to our newsletter. The link is in the description just below this video. Thanks for listening. As always, this is AJ for Disney Food Blog, and we'll see you real soon.